He couldn't talk, couldn't understand. Danger. But when a baby found a caged, injured German shepherd outside his home, something incredible happened. No one knew where the dog came from until the baby reached out his hand. What followed stunned the entire town and uncovered a secret buried for years. The morning sun bathed the quiet countryside in a warm golden hue. Birds chirped lazily in the distance as a little Noah, no more than a year old, waddled barefoot across the wooden porch of his family's new home. He had just learned to walk, each step unsteady but full of curiosity. His tiny fingers gripped the edge of the stairs as he giggled at the soft breeze brushing his cheeks. Then he stopped. Something down the steps caught his eye. Just a few feet away, in the shadow of the porch, sat an old wire cage. Inside, still and silent, was a large German shepherd. His coat was thick but dusty, his eyes weary yet focused. The cage door was closed, locked with a fraying rope. The dog didn't bark. He didn't growl. He simply watched Noah, frozen in a strange mix of alertness and hope. Noah tilted his head, then took a step forward and then another. With the smallest hands he reached toward the bars, unaware that what he was about to touch wasn't just a dog, it was a secret. Noah pressed his tiny palm against the cold steel bars. The German shepherd slowly moved forward, nose twitching, then gently nudged Noah's hand with his snout. The boy's eyes widened with wonder. He didn't flinch. Instead, he giggled softly and sat down on the wooden step, never breaking contact with the dog's gaze. Inside the house, Noah's mother was washing dishes, unaware of what was unfolding just outside. The yard was fenced, safe, or so she thought. Noah's father had gone to check on the shed behind the house, leaving Noah momentarily unsupervised. Back at the cage, the German shepherd did something surprising. He lowered his head submissively and let out a faint, almost inaudible whimper. Noah, sensing no danger, reached through the bars and touched the dog's ear. The shepherd didn't move away. He leaned into the contact as if that single touch filled a void that had been empty for years. In that quiet exchange between an innocent baby and a forgotten protector, something unspoken happened. Trust was born, and nothing would ever be the same again. A sudden bark pierced the air, sharp, urgent, but not aggressive. Inside the house, Noah's mother dropped a dish with a crash and rushed to the porch. What she saw froze her in place. There was Noah just outside the porch, steps, inches from a massive German shepherd locked inside a rusted cage. Her heart leapt into her throat. "Noah!" she screamed, racing to him. But before she could pull him away, she paused. The dog wasn't growling. He wasn't baring his teeth. Instead, his eyes met hers, with something far deeper than fear, desperation. Then he let out a low, haunting whine, one that sounded less like a dog's cry, and more like a plea. The mother noticed something else. The dog was injured, his leg stiff, a fresh scar along his flank, and an old collar with a worn tag. She couldn't read from that distance. Noah turned to her, smiling as if introducing an old friend. "He's nice," he whispered. Tears welled up in her eyes. Somehow, she believed him. She didn't know why. but she believed. The next morning, the family loaded the cage, dog and all, into their truck and drove straight to the local animal clinic. Noah refused to let go of the dog's paw the entire way. "He's hurt," he kept saying softly, "but he's brave." At the clinic, the vet, a kind older man, with decades of experience, examined the dog carefully, his brows furrowed as he scanned the scar tissue, the muscle damage, and the faded tattoo under the ear. He stepped away and made a few phone calls. When he returned, he looked at Noah's parents with a stunned expression. "This dog," he said quietly, "he's not just any German shepherd. He was a search and rescue dog. Military. Declared missing years ago after a mission went wrong." Noah looked up at the vet with innocent wonder. "So he's a hero?" The vet nodded slowly. "Yes, a forgotten one." The room went silent. The once abandoned creature now had a name, a past, and a story that began to unravel with each layer uncovered. And it all started because one baby chose not to be afraid. Word spread fast. Neighbors who had barely introduced themselves before now gathered near the family's front yard, their eyes drawn to the cage and the dog inside it. Some stared with curiosity, others with concern. Noah's parents stood awkwardly by the porch, answering what questions they could. One elderly woman shuffled forward with a cane and squinted at the dog. "That can't be," she whispered. "Is that Rex?" Her voice cracked. "He belonged to the Thompsons, the family who lived here before you. They vanished overnight months ago. Left the house, the furniture, everything." The crowd murmured. Someone else chimed in. "They said they moved to care for a sick relative." Another voice. "No, I heard they were in trouble. The FBI came around once." Noah, sitting beside the cage, rested his tiny hand on the dog's fur. Rex leaned into him gently. Amid gossip and confusion, one thing was clear. Rex hadn't just wandered here. He'd returned, waiting patiently at the only place he ever called home. And somehow Noah had heard the call before anyone else. That afternoon, Noah's father remembered something odd. The old shed out back. It was the only part of the property they hadn't explored since moving in. Overgrown vines clung to its door, and rust coated the handle. Curious, he walked over, tugged it open, and stepped inside. Rex immediately perked up. The dog stood despite his limp and barked once, loud and sharp. Then again. Noah ran after his father, Rex following closely behind. Inside the shed, time had frozen. Dust danced in slants of light. Old boxes lined the wall filled with children's toys, tattered blankets, and photo albums. On the far shelf had a picture frame, cracked, but still clear. It showed a family of 3, a man, a woman, and a little boy. The boy I looked exactly like Noah. Gasps echoed behind him as Noah's mother entered. Is that the pieces clicked? Rex had belonged to the Thompsons. The child in the photo might have been Noah's cousin or something closer. But this wasn't coincidence. Rex had waited not for a place but for a person, and he had found him. The truth unraveled like a quiet storm. After reaching out to authorities, Noah's family learned that Thompsons had gone missing under Mysterious circumstances. The case had gone cold until now. Rex had escaped, injured and alone, but had somehow found his way back to the only home he remembered. Noah's resemblance to the boy in the photo wasn't just coincidence. It was blood. The missing child had been Noah's uncle, lost decades ago. The house had stayed in distant family hands without anyone realizing the connection. Rex's return wasn't random. He had come home for the one person he still recognized by heart. Noah. The local sheriff visited the home personally. "This dog," he said solemnly, "isn't just loyal. He carried the truth back with him." Tears welled in the eyes of neighbors who once doubted. The cage was dismantled. A new bed was laid beside Noah's. Every night Rex slept there, his body curled near the crib as if guarding not just a child, but a legacy. He hadn't just found Noah.